get there.
Just before we're dead.
Hey! Hello, everybody. Welcome to a strange new world setup, because it's been a while since we've done one of these, but, you know, I don't know how screen record works, and I don't have a webcam.
35 minutes.
I have been falling. I've been stuck over the Grand Canyon for 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm stuck in one of Doctor Strange's weird portals. I'm not in the set today.
Yeah,
I've got the case of the COVID.
Yes.
I've got the case of the COVID.
Connor did doth test positive. So he's taking his necessary precautions and wishing him a speedy recovery to be back in my arms as well as this chair.
Your forehead.
Yeah.
And your forehead.
It's just because I've had a lot to in my week off. I'm off this week and I've done like loads over this is the third day of my holiday and I've done a lot.
Yeah.
So basically, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. So basically, one of these things. Yeah, I've just had to run away from the mic. So basically, one of the things is like my cat has kidney stones coming, which is unfortunate. So basically, like we know how she is, so she goes out and hi everyone, this is a pop culture podcast and we're going to talk about pets. Basically, like she normally drinks loads of water throughout the day, like goes out, especially now the weather's getting warmer, like she likes to go out and fuck off all day and then come back in at night. So like it started a thing of like she was in quite a lot and sort of like not wanting to go out, but just sort of like choosing to stay in, not eating as much food and stuff like that, but also like just like pissing everywhere. But also like we thought it was just sent in because like so next door neighbour's cat's in season, so we didn't know whether because they always sort of like are together, like they both like go over the back fences and around sort of like the back bit of the houses. So we didn't know whether her being in season has sort of like affected her, even though she's been done and everything, because she was like that when we first got her, and then about a year ago, and then we got her done, and she's been calm and sweet. But then it was just little and often you'd let her in a room, crouching on like a bed or like some clothes you've left out or a towel or a fucking carpet, and she's pissing like on it. And took her to the vets. Had to take a urine sample back because they gave us the special beads that don't absorb it. So like took the thing in, and I've got like 3 lots of medicine to give her that I had to pick up today. So that's been fun. Yeah. So in like the last 3 days, I've had to like take her to the vets, pick her medicine up. I've had to. Obviously, Lars had another scan. So I'm literally, if I run away from the microphone, it's because she's crouching to. Basically, I hate it because like we're having to sort of like keep her out of stuff because especially with us, like we're washing everything for the baby and that, so she can't be like pissing on anything. So we sort of had her like out the room and having to like shut the and I hate it because it's basically like shutting her out and she just looks sad.
She wants the love. She just wants the attention.
Yeah, but her benefit now is we've been told to give her more because she's always been like a dry food cat and has never really liked wet food. But we've had to give her wet food for her medicine and stuff, and because it's got more liquid in it, so it's better for her. And she's fucking loving that. So that's a benefit for her. Is she has better meals now. But so we're having to give her liquid and like 3 tablets for the next couple of weeks. It might be a persistent thing, but if we can keep on top of it, then it hopefully won't affect her because she's only 2.5.
Oh, okay.
So we don't want to be like operating on her like a lot to get them out. So if we can sort of get her under control, because then we can let her back in like the rooms and that, and not be asked. Because normally she would like jump up on the bed, like have like sleep on the bed, and sort of like wake you up to like so you could let her out at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, so she could run downstairs and get out. But that's when like when she's like walking, like edging around the room and like not even waking you up, just like sort of like pissing where she was. It was like this cat's not well. So yeah. That's part of what my week is, and I had to use a laundrette for the first time today because she managed to piss on both of our duvets. So that's fun. So I've learnt how to use a laundrette. £7 each. So that was £14 of my hard-earned cash that I had to.
Hard-earned money.
Yeah. And
because of a damn dirty animal.
damn, you damn dirty ape. Yeah, so that's, and at least like the weather's nice. I know.
Yeah, that's possible,
You know,
yeah.
you know, we can get back to beer gardens soon. We can go for a pint once you're well, and
Yeah.
things like that. And I can give you this.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess what your present is? Because I had to wait for it to come back in
Well,
stock.
it's a legend of Marvel. I don't know who, but it's some Marvel legend.
Did you
right?
see the ones I sent you
Marvel.
yesterday? I was like, fuck, that's cool because I got America Chavez and everything in Smiths.
Doctor Strange as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the astral form, so he's like see-through. So this one went out of stock, and I've literally been waiting for like months for it to come back. And now that it's back in, the whole range has gone down in price. I don't know whether this is for the diminishing returns of the film, but do you want to have a guess?
Okay. Is it Professor X? Who's Doctor Strange edition?
That would have been good, like just a fucking Patrick Stewart mould in a jumper. Who's Doctor Strange?
No, I don't. It could be anybody. That's the thing. It could be anybody. If everyone's in Doctor Strange, so it could be. Is it Morbius? Is it a Morbius Marvel Legends? Is he confirmed to be in Doctor Strange?
The wave's not done for Morbius yet, but there will be one, just like there is now a proper Venom one.
Have you pre-ordered the Matt Smith toy, or whatever his character's name?
Oh, Loxias Crown. No, but that can be for Christmas. You can have that one. Are you ready? I'm going to flip the camera for the reveal on this audio podcast.
No. It could be anything at this point. Oh, it's not James Bond. Oh, Icarus. Hashtag not my James Bond.
So
Hashtag not my Superman.
the whole range for the Eternals has gone down on Amazon. Like Fastos is like a tenner. So I managed to get you the only one that isn't part of the build. Doesn't have a Build-A-Figure part in it, like the other 6 do. But
Yeah. Okay.
literally, so I was waiting for sexy Richard Madden for you because I know that you want your plastic James Bond.
Yeah, totally.
And he was gone for like 2 months, but yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And he finally turned up, yeah. And they didn't have a copy of The Dead Don't Die for some reason, so I'm still waiting on that.
Oh,
that's like fucking £4 on Blu-ray. Worth it. But yeah. So you can have, James Bond, you can have Makari, you can have Sprite, you can have whatever Gemma Chan's character name was from Captain Marvel, because she was 2 people.
Blue person. Nebula number 2.
Yes, you can have
Number 2.
Brian Tyree Henry's famous portrayal of Miles Morales' dad. You can have Stuber, and you can have the Joker.
Spoilers, yeah. Yeah, the Joker.
And together, you could build Gilgamesh.
Yeah, Gilgamesh, who definitely isn't related to Wong, who can't be a distant cousin of Wong.
He does, a little bit in the face. It was a bit like, oh, that's no, but it's what's his name? What's his name? Don Lee, who's a Korean boxer.
Don Lee, yeah.
He's a pretty cool guy.
And from Train to Busan, like the only other Korean film other than Parasite I've seen, he was very good in that. He was the main protagonist in it, the dad, on the train.
Oh, he was on the train to Busan.
He was good. He was the train.
He was the whole train. I am Train Gilgamesh. Obviously we've got some pop culture stuff to talk about. So while I just go to my thingies, yes, I have some stuff there. Do you know what I have? So I'm on 4 movies now that I've watched this year.
Oh right. Oh.
So
you meant this week? I thought you were going back to how busy your week has been. I was like, oh, you watched 4 this week.
No,
But,
so
right.
I've since watched. So I watched Turning Red, the new Pixar film that's on Disney Plus.
The new Pixar thing. Mm-hmm.
Really good. I don't know if you've checked it out yet.
Not yet. There's been things during my time that I tried to watch, and every film I've at least started, but I just couldn't sit down and finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially the last couple of days, anything I whacked on, I couldn't be in front of my screen for like more than an hour at a time. It was so awkward. This whole COVID crap has been awkward. But then today, literally, I whacked on an episode of Peep Show for the first time as well.
Oh, very nice.
Halfway through the first episode.
Have you watched it before?
On the screen. I've not seen it. No, because you mentioned it and someone else at work mentioned it. And again, it's quick and short, and it's nothing to think about. You know, it's something like and comedic, and Olivia Colman's in it, which I didn't even know about.
Did you not? Oh shit.
No, I didn't know anything about Peep Show. I just knew it was a thing that you said, and I can't think his name, but the main guy, and then the other main guy, I don't
David
know.
Mitchell.
Olivia Colman on the bus, and I thought, alright, this is going to be a Crown prequel.
The Olivia Colman on the Bus film TV show.
Yeah, exactly. That title.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, it's really. I really like. Peep Show was one of them things that I absolutely loved. Back in the day, because I would watch it as it was on Channel 4. It's really good, man. It's really high quality. Like, it's proper dark humour along the same Garth Marenghi's Dark Place kind of stuff, and all that kind of shiz. It's got some really funny stuff as well.
Oh no, I can only imagine. But there's 9 seasons. There's a
Yes.
lot of episodes.
Paranoia's coming to get me. Oh, where's the turkey, Jeremy? That's a TikTok trend that people started doing, because there's a really good David Mitchell impressionist on TikTok. So like he was like he's been reenacting like loads of Peep Show in lockdown, like what it would be like, because it was a weird, because it was always, for me, it was like, oh, that weird show that's always in POV. But some of it is just so well done. Like some of the jokes, like when he's on the bus with I forget Jenna Coleman's character name, but like she sits on his hand and he's like, "It's been too long. I can't move it now." It'd just be awkward.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. Oh, it's really good. I'm glad you're branching some stuff. Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, so
the only other thing I've touched upon, sorry.
Carry on.
Watch is Rise of Planet of the Apes. That's literally the only thing I've actually watched.
What did you think? So you'd only watched War, hadn't you?
War, yeah. And I can't see how from Rise you get to War. I mean, the ending does set it up, and you can kind of skip the middle film, but then I feel like I am missing the vital bits. But then Matt Reeves didn't do the first one. He didn't direct it. It was someone called Rupert Harris who did the first one. He might have been an executive producer or something, but as soon as it started, I knew it wasn't a Matt Reeves movie.
No, because Matt Reeves does Dawn and War, doesn't he?
I mean, Dawn, I heard, is the best one. It's the only one I haven't seen.
Dawn's my favourite. Out of the new trilogy, I think Dawn is my favourite. I'm apologising for the awkward angles, but like, you're really coming through on the mic if I hold you like this, so it's quite good. Yeah, Dawn. So what did you think of Rise then? Because it's got James Franco, Tom Felton,
and the Oscorp formula, back to formula. Formula. I mean, it kind of was like a weird Oscorp experiment gone wrong. Really, it was weird.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, where's Norman?
Norman's on sabbatical, honey.
Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy, the ape abuser.
Mm-hmm.
That was his muggle job before Hogwarts. Yeah, he was a prick in it. I liked him in it though, he was good. And then I can't think of none of the other people. The girl, James Franco's girlfriend, I enjoyed. The Brian Cox was the good sort of main antagonist behind. Oh no, so Draco's dad in it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Tom Felton's dad in it. I can't think of the character's name. But no, it was a good cast. Everyone I liked in it. Andy Serkis is brilliant the whole time because it's motion captured.
Caesar. Home. Yeah, it's very good.
No.
So you're gonna then watch Dawn and then War again and sort of have a definitive understanding for like that trilogy, because I think it's a trilogy that's a trilogy, but also like they are very standalone movies. Like you could, I think, just in the sense of James Bond, you could just watch one and sort of get what you need out of it. But there is sort of
Yeah.
a light arc through the three, especially because Caesar is the main character for all three of them, and like you see where he starts off, and you see, spoiler alert for War of the Planet of the Apes, but like where he ends, like that's
Yeah.
the whole like that's a whole journey, and I think they're very well made, and obviously like we talked to like briefly about the original ones, like they were good like quality, but it's just one of them things where it's like you could just sort of like you got the gist of it after a while. It just felt like it's like, and we're making another Planet of the Apes movie, like, but they are still of a they're still, I'd say, 6 out of 10 movies, like at the very least. Like there's not a terrible, I've not watched a Planet of the Apes movie where I'm like, this is a dog shit. Like even the Tim Burton reboot one's a bit sort of like, there's some fun ideas here.
Yeah, totally. Oh, okay. Middle of the road. It's Tim Burton and Mark Wahlberg, that one, isn't it? Like sort of early Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg's the space traveller, Helen Bonham Carter's one of the apes, and Charlton Heston is one of the apes. So like it's
coming back from the originals.
He's like one of the elders dying, and he's like, "Damn you all to hell!" Kind of. It's like, oh, that's the line that he said when he was in the original one. It's like a nice little, and it's sort of the way it ends is a nice sort of homage to the first one, but in a different way.
Yeah. I noticed that with Rise, there was loads of homages. There was one of the special features on the set. It was only like 8 minutes long, but like 6 minutes of it was just them geeking out and talking like, "Oh, we borrowed this from that. That bit was from the ending of the original. This was from Rise. This was from this." And it was just the amount of love and craftsmanship and detail. And there was one bit in particular where I kind of looked at it and thought, that must be a reference. That must be a cheeky nod to something from the originals. And it turns out it was. But it was such a subtle one that I actually appreciated it more because of its subtlety. And it wasn't like an obvious, like, yoink, we'll take that.
Yeah. Oh, good.
But no, I'm looking forward to see where the hell it goes next. And
so do you own all three of them now?
Dawn's not. Sorry.
So do you own the three? I've
had the three for forever. I've just never watched them. I've had them for ages.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
For like too long.
And now you've got So it's just Dawn to go, and then
and then I'm no doubt going to revisit War because I mean that was 2017, so what, 5 years? And I mean I've only seen it the once, so I feel like watching it again for the first time. Properly.
Oh, nice one, man. Very good. And then we can look forward to the fourth one. That's because we've not had a Planet of the Apes movie out since we started doing this pod. Because it's weird because you kind of think of like how long we've been doing it. Like it'll be 4 years. Shit, 4 years in a couple of months, really.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I feel like we only just did like the 3rd anniversary episode with Will, Andy, and Mike.
Mike, that still feels like yesterday to me as well. To be honest.
So
it feels like a few weeks ago.
June, July, something like that. So what, episode 208? Yeah, so we're about 8, 9, 11, 12, about 15, 16 weeks away. Jesus, that come along far. I feel like how we always like somehow manage to like accidentally like this evolves a little bit each time like we have a birthday. I feel like there's been no time between the last birthday and this one coming up.
No, we haven't. We haven't. No, that's a bit of a subtle one.
Yeah, so we've had, I think Rise of Skywalker's the only Star Wars film that came out in our time
Since
doing
we've
this.
done this. Yeah.
Because it all started
Or was
due to
it
the
Solo just before? Did Solo just come out just before us, or?
Yeah, so it was around the time of Solo, maybe, because we started in June, but then it was like late, because 28th of June is our birthday, and like the podcast was that week or like the week after, like it was around then. So it was either like either 1 or 2 days after, or like 7 days later, and it's.
Solo came out end of May.
Yeah. So,
May the 25th. So
do you know what it was? The podcast started because we were talking like our first episode was talking about like the Star Wars fandom at large because the negative reaction for Last Jedi had affected what happened with Solo, and then Rise of Skywalker, which at the end of this year will be 3 years ago. was
I
our
mean,
first
that still
Star
feels
Wars
like
movie.
yesterday. I remember being there with you, just being like, yeah, and then just like,
So that was at the end of our first full year of it. Wow, we're starting to really rack up some fucking miles on this thing. So yeah, we've only had
yeah,
one Star Wars film. We've had Ant-Man and the Wasp was like week 4.
2018 as well.
So
Yeah,
we've
that was
had
early as well. Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp,
The Meg as
Captain
well. We had the
Marvel,
Meg in 2018. We had the Meg.
Endgame. Yeah, we've had that. We're waiting for the second one. Endgame, Homecoming, Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Spy. So we've had 8 MCU movies, one Star
Gee, that
Wars
sounds like a
movie.
lot.
We've had no Star Trek movies yet. We've had no Planet of the Apes
No.
movies. We've had one Matrix
We've had-
movie.
We've had one Christopher Nolan movie. Well, yeah, we've
Yeah.
had one Nolan movie.
We've had one Batman movie. We've had
We've had
most
one
of
Edgar
most
Wright
of the
movie.
DCEU stuff has happened since
Yeah.
we've started going, because it was before that it was only Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman,
Suicide Squad.
Justice
Yeah,
League.
that's right. And Justice League, yeah, exactly.
So we've had Aquaman, Shazam, the Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
We've got Shazam 2 and Black Adam this... Well, yeah, things. Complacency! But we now have the equipment to do better, so it's fine. So year 4 is the... it's year 5. We'll be going into our 5th year. Our 5th year will be better.
Fire, not Order of the Phoenix. Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, we're finishing off Goblet of Fire, and then Order of the Phoenix
We're
starts
gonna
in
get
the summer.
haircuts, and then we're gonna get this is gonna be the really long book, the long year, because Order of the Phoenix is the longest book, isn't it? I think by page number.
We've had one Fantastic Beasts movie. First one was 2016.
Yeah,
2016, 2018, and 2022.
A few weeks away.
I know.
Yay.
I think I'm being dragged to go and see it because
Yeah.
my other half and her sister are very big Harry Potter fans, and I'm like,
Yeah, you can't argue your way out of that one.
and I'm like, yes, I don't give any money because it's my Cineworld Unlimited card, but also I don't want that on my history of purchases. Because I'm just kind of done with it. I've just the first story was a nice anthology thing that was really sweet, and then it's like, oh, we've now got to tie these these consequential characters into a greater story about Dumbledore and Grindelwald, which we should have just fucking started with, instead of just tagging it like Grindelwald at the end and only mentioning Dumbledore, and then you have him in one film that's like, I can't move on him because of my blood pact. We're not allowed to allude to the fact that we were lovers because the studios are scared of the Chinese market.
And then instead of J.K. Rowling sort of verifying it through Twitter, oh, let's just copy her post and make it into a movie. Let's just rather than go to her for updates.
But let's only copy that post because she's a fucking terrible woman. Yeah. I don't want to give money to J.K. Rowling. I've given her enough. I bought the Harry Potter books and I've seen all the films. I wish I hadn't seen a Fantastic Beasts movie, because then I could gladly just carry on my life having them. It's inconsequential. I can not watch the other 3, like this one and the next 2. Like, I can not watch them, and it's not really going to impact my life.
Yeah.
But there's a deep rooted.
There wasn't a void.
Yeah.
There wasn't a void in my life when Deathly Hallows came out, and I was thinking, oh, we need more. It was a bookmark ending, great ending to what it was.
Yeah.
It was an amazing franchise, and that should have been it.
And like with us, like now that OCD wise I've seen 2 of them, it's like, do I have to see the next 3? Realistically, no. Am I going to own them? Probably not. I still don't own Crimes of Grindelwald. I think I've got a Blu-ray copy of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. But
the question is where to find it. Where have you found it?
Exactly. Yes. Just like where you can find the fact that Turning Red was the thing that I said I watched, and it's quite good. And it's about a coming-of-age story. Literally, it's the little red monster that this girl turns into is obviously a reference to puberty and stuff and becoming a woman and things. And it's really sweet and insightful like Pixar is, but it's you know, so people are complaining that oh, like a film about like girls getting their period, it's like it's not appropriate for children. It's like, how many times have you seen films where, you know, fucking the boys suddenly like fall out with their female best friend because they don't like feel like feelings for each other and shit like that, and it's like we've had enough for the male ego in terms of coming of age stories, and it's really nicely done and well told, and I think it's for kids going into like being like 10, 11, 12 years old. As you're getting to that point, it's a nice visual thing of just being like you're gonna feel like you're changing, and that you can't control it, and like it's gonna really affect you, but like you're still gonna be the same person. It's something that happens, and it's really well done and quite sweet, and the voice cast is great. I just wish I could.
How's the animation? Is it just like standard?
It's what Pixar's like. It's
very standard
high
Pixar,
quality, the amazing textures. It's nice world building because obviously this is set in Canada.
Oh right, okay. Okay.
I don't know what the Asian population is like in Canada, so I think it's based on like a real. I think it's like the place that's named is a real place, but I'm not 100% sure. But I watched it a couple of weeks ago when it first came out, and I was very impressed by what I saw. It's on the list of the 4 films I've seen now, so that's it's not at the bottom, it's not at the top, but it's definitely in the top 3.
What's the other thing? Because I thought you said you saw 2 last time I saw you
now.
in person. What was the other thing?
I have existed since the late 1990s, Connor.
Right. So is this sorry? So is this movie been running the whole time since we've both been alive? Is there a movie that we've both been unaware of?
What year was you born? Was it 99?
98.
98. So you were born in 1998 AD.
AD, yeah. AD.
So, as a fellow child of like the mid to late 90s into the 2000s, did you come across the film Cheaper by the Dozen?
Oh, okay, I know what you're going with it. I never saw it, but I know they've released a new, like a remake of it, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've released a new version.
So the first 2 were fun sort of comedy capers starring Steve Martin, Bonnie Hunt, and an assortment of children including Tom Welling and Hilary Duff as the older one, but basically based off of it's a real family like that had 12 children and that, and so Cheaper by the Dozen was the book that was written by the mother, I believe, and then so they've adapted it into a film in loose terms. Like the first one is essentially it's a comedy vehicle for Steve Martin, but like so that families can go and watch it together. And the first one's really good, and the second one is quite high quality too. They're both directed by Sean Levy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We were talking about that briefly when he is seemingly being honed in on for Deadpool 3. He's a producer on this. He's a producer on the new. So the new one came out, I believe, today.
Oh, did it?
It's either today or it was last Wednesday. It's one of the but I've literally only just seen it today, like on my thing of like new to Disney Plus, and it's the rebooted one. Starring Zach Braff and... Hang on a minute, I'm literally... Because of the benefit of having a PC, I'm going to Google who's in it right now.
I've got it up. Gabriel Union, Zach Braff, Erica Christensen, Danny Rogers, Tim and Carl Durrett,
is it?
Journey Brown.
Yes, Gabriel Union.
There's a load of people.
Gabriel Union plays... his wife, yeah. So it's a blended family this time. So he's not called Tom in this one. He's Paul Baker, but his wife's still called Kate.
Okay.
And so he was married before with Kate. They had. It's really so the way it's done is it's a thing of like, and here's this kid, and here's what they're like. It starts off with here's us, this is what we do, but like this is our history, like with narration from them first. Um, that's
Oh, there you go.
yeah. So you get like here's with Kate, like we had this child and then this child and then it just takes a turn. It's like and then our best friends were killed by this drunk driver, so we adopted our godson, and then you
Oh,
get
okay.
like and like as much as we love being parents, like we couldn't get on with each other, so we stopped being together, and it's like okay. And then you get sort of like the same. So like the wife, she was married to this NFL player, had her few kids, and yeah, I think she had four, and he had like obviously the three, and then you got the seven, and then they get together later on because he dropped out of college when he was having kids with his first wife and started working in this crummy diner, and then eventually made enough to buy it out and have his own business, and that's where he met his new wife. She was in there with her kids, and then they obviously get married and have two sets of twins, and then it's their whole thing of like, and then there's this kid, and this is what they dream about doing when they're older, and it's good, but it's obviously trying to do it different from the first one, and I think having Sean Levy produce it has maybe made them sort of go, let's defer away from this thing that we're doing with it, like let's make it totally different kind of thing.
Yeah, let's make it modern and accessible and like comedy friendly,
Yeah.
maybe. Like that's their motif. Yeah.
I like the blended family angle of it. I do. I think that's it's very modern in terms of that. But
Sorry, you said the word blended families. So Wikipedia says it received negative reviews from critics, though it received some praise for touching on the subject of blended families and race relations.
exactly, because obviously Zach Braff is a Caucasian male, and Gabrielle, what's her surname?
Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union is African American, and like that's her kids with her first husband, and that or African American as well. His two kids are white, and then he's got I forget the descent of the godson, but is it Asian? I think Asian American, something like that, and so it's like a really good mix, and a lot of fuddy duddy fucking old fashioned people say like, oh, you're just trying to tick every box and include, but no, there are families that have that kind of stuff happen to them, like
Totally.
there's all kinds of life events that bind you together. So, like, fucking, just because it doesn't apply to you,
No matter
just
what
sit
aspects of the
down and
world you're
listen to
from,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
exactly. And yeah. So I think the aspects of that is, I think it's just the storyline is a bit thin. I think it's where like it's trying to, I think, live off the goodwill of the first two in order to sort of get you a thing of like, come on, you love the first one, but it's clearly its own thing, and it's nothing like the first two Cheap by the Dozen films. So not that makes it a bad film. It just makes it a like there's
So
not enough behind. There's not.
It's not a remake. It's not a reboot. It's just a reimagining of what you knew before.
Yeah, but yeah,
For better or for worse,
completely
it's
different
up to
story,
your
completely
interpretation,
different characters, and obviously like completely different cast, because otherwise that'd be really confusing. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's trying to distance itself, but also it's using the name of the well, you say name like how many people are depending on the Cheap by the Dozen franchise, but like it's using that as a thing of like, come on, you like this, you like, come and watch this one. So I enjoyed it, but I think for me it was a solid like 6. It's definitely one of those that feel like a straight to DVD generation for this.
It sounds like on par with the Home Alone film that came out. Like, I still haven't watched, but it sounds like the recent Home Alone.
Yeah, I think like that, but better. But then you had a more well known cast in the Home Alone one. So yeah, I'd have to watch that to know for sure. But yes, it's very much. I think the problem with these straight to Disney Plus, some of these straight to Disney Plus movies, like with Lady and the Tramp and stuff, it's almost like they've resigned to the fact that it's coming out on Disney Plus, not making it for a thing of like, this is for everyone to see, like this can be seen anywhere by anyone. It's like we're already playing to a market that's already bought the product, and they're not having to pay any extra for this, so it's just a thing of they can watch if they want to.
Get it out there.
But no, I did. I would recommend checking it out at the very least. And the first two are on there as well. So if you want to give yourself a marathon, um, you
Why
know,
not? Yeah,
I think if you watch the other two, you'll see how vastly different the tone is, and be a bit sort of
I
like,
know.
oh,
I'll at least check out the original first, and then decide if I want to watch the rest. But I'll go to the new one, and then I'll definitely do that. I'll start with the original one and just work my way towards it. But then you say Sean Levy, like, so basically, I think it must have been Friday night or even Thursday night. I did finally got around to the Adam Project,
oh, you did.
and yeah, not nowhere near as good as Free Guy, nowhere near as funny as Deadpool or Free Guy, or I'm trying to think of like recent collaboration with Ryan Reynolds. Like not as good as Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. I'd say better than Red Notice in terms of
Is
Ryan Reynolds' performances.
is that saying a lot though? Because Red Notice is quite shit.
Well, no, it was quite shit. Save the twist at the end, which I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
But
it ends.
Notice,
Its
yeah.
ending drags it up a bit.
It got better as it went on, but yeah, it did kind of drag the ending
Yeah.
up as well.
The problem is the film drowns
But
for
it
like the
was a bit
first
of a-
hour and 45 minutes.
It really, yeah, that movie was a failure, but yeah, it is like the most watched and successful Netflix movie of all time. Like, okay, wait till the next thing comes out, and then it will hopefully outthrow it and overrank it. But Adam Project won't be that. It was fine. I admired the references. I was expecting like to be every 2 minutes, but luckily it wasn't every 2 seconds. There's not a lot of references from other things. There's some jokingly comparisons, which is nice. But it's not like, oh my god, is that from Star Wars? Like superhero landings, like yeah, okay, that's in there because it's obviously Mr. Reynolds. And then they joke about Ryan Reynolds' sort of laser sword, and they're like, oh my god, is that a saber? And it's like, oh, you didn't call it lightsaber because I think they know they did it 6 months ago in Free Guy. But again, when I was expecting reference heavy, I was expecting like every 30 seconds to be like some snappy, obnoxious, cheesy reference to things. But there was a lot of backgroundy stuff, which is obviously from other films, which I don't personally know, but I think it was nicely put together, and it did kind of suit the story it was telling. The kid in the film, let me just get the name of the kid, because I want to say he was fucking great, though. He was the best thing about the movie. The kid. Played by... Who was the kid? Come on. Kid, where are you? Isaiah Hager? Isaiah Hager is a younger 8-year-old Adam. Yeah, spoiler alert, it's a time travel story. You might have seen the trailer, you might not, but essentially Ryan Reynolds meets a kid who turns out to be himself from the past in 2020. Well, it's 2022, but then they have to go back to 2018 because of scientific experimental reasons to do with the plot, and it might involve a certain Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, and Zoe Saldana, maybe, possibly. That's what I'll say about it. But no, the kid was incredible. And then Ryan Reynolds was good in it, but it didn't feel like his best.
Yeah.
So, no, I enjoyed it. Adam Project, in ways, was better than I was expecting it to be, but it certainly wasn't the movie which I knew it was going to be. If I was sitting here going, oh, it's going to be the best movie of 2022, I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't going to be that at all. But I still enjoyed it all in all. It was quite good.
Oh, cool, man.
And, like, the performances from everyone else made it good. So, yeah, I'd say check Adam Project out.
I have been meaning to watch it. I just, along with, the influx of Ryan Reynolds stuff, some of it does feel a bit samey, but Adam Project's one of them things. It's like it felt very much in the way it was sort of put out there was similar to Red Notice, and I really didn't enjoy that film.
No.
So
that was just a huge disappointment.
Yeah, I've kind of avoided it for that reason, but I will check it out at some point on streaming. So but yeah, I will give that a good old watch. Just like I would watch a WandaVision season 2, but it's not happening.
Oh. No, but I swear I read it at the time of release that it weren't coming out anyway, so I don't get why this is all happening again.
Yeah.
Why is this conversation happening?
So basically, Matt Shankman's been it was Matt Shankman that directed WandaVision, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, he was in an interview earlier this week, was asked about WandaVision and a possible season 2, and basically said like, there's a season 2 was never on the table. That was never part of the plans. Like with Kevin Feige said, like a lot of these shows are just limited series, like one and done, like an origin movie, and then
Yeah.
they go off and either play in someone else's series or get dragged into the movies.
A limited or event series might give it a clue. It doesn't say season 1. It's just a limited series.
But I think
people are like, oh, all of it.
Do you know what I think has sort of changed that on some people is the fact that Loki has got a second season, and What If is getting a second season. So a lot of people are like, there is scope for a there is scope for a second season of WandaVision. I don't think I'd be against it. I just think where would the story go?
Yeah, exactly. We need to see things play out. Like, if House of Harkness is going to be one of those candidates for a second season, I doubt it. But again, we can't judge until we get any footage of it and get some impression of. Maybe a certain Multiverse of Madness might give Elizabeth Olsen a run for her money, because if she signed on for a supposed trilogy of films, I am Groot, I find questionable, but hey, if it's just a one-off animated short, then yeah, that can be allowed. And all these other things in their contract, then maybe there's leeway for season 2 potentially down the line, but it won't be called WandaVision. It'll just be the spiritual successor. It won't be called WandaVision.
Yeah, I think
else.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of these things that are going to have follow-ups will be spiritual successors, like shows with different names, but like a lot of the characters will carry over anyway. Like, if you're gonna, like, there won't necessarily be a second season of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, there might be a season of Captain America and the White Wolf or something, and that's essentially And like you said, I think House of Harkness is, that comes directly from the WandaVision show. So like that's gonna essentially be like a season 2, but it's a season 2 from a certain point of view, Anakin. So, I think.
Who is Catherine Hahn?
I think all the shows will have at least the potential for this story can be picked up somewhere later down the line if it's not in a season 2 necessarily. Like, I think you're going to get that with Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and I think She-Hulk as well. Yeah, like, I wouldn't be surprised if you got a Midnight Suns, just like how you're rumoured to have, something that's listed under apparently like one of the Disney properties as Daredevil Reboot is going to basically be like rumoured to be like a full-on season 4 of the show, because I think that's what they would do with that kind of thing. It would be a continuation. It wouldn't just be a let's start it again. It would be a here's the storylines we wouldn't pick up, because I think Kevin Feige knows his audience, and people would rather chomp at the bit of Charlie.
We're his audience. We have an audience within an audience. It's like, yeah, you should know us by now. We tell them things, and
an audience within an audience. That's like 16 audiences. Like, I think you're going to get a lot more out of a property like Daredevil coming back for a season 4 instead of starting it again. Like, you're going to... Whereas something like Moon Knight would work as a Moon Knight introduction and then have a Midnight Suns. Maybe you have a Ghost Rider show, you have a 3rd season of Punisher, and then you start tying them lot into the Midnight Suns.
Exactly.
Just like how I think that you would get either a follow-up season for Luke Cage and Iron Fist, or you would go straight into a Heroes for Hire show, which I think we've been asking for since I think they started teaming up in Defenders, because it was clearly like, you two can work together well, not just as characters but as actors.
Yeah, do it. Just do it, Marvel. Do it.
Yeah.
You listen to us. Yeah. Listen to us now. Do it.
Or like an MI13 show, like things like that. I think you're gonna have some of these, like the ongoing plot points can work and maybe bounce between shows, but you sort of, I think for people that are scared of the thing of like, some people like us, well, not like us, I should say, won't be listening, like won't have a thing of like, so this is connected to that and it has the same characters in, but it's not got the same show name, so how do I know it's the same thing? Is there something in between? So a lot of that's going to be the disconnect of the casual fan. But I wouldn't say no to a second season of WandaVision. I think it would have to be a completely different story, because I think that you've got everything you wanted out of that initial, the trauma and the repercussions after the events of Infinity War and Endgame. You've kind of sort of closed the book on that chapter. There's many more stories you could tell with Vision and Wanda, and I think we're going to get to hear them regardless. It's not going to be in a Disney Plus show.
In WandaVision season 2, big screen, small screen. The chances are endless.
Yeah.
They will happen, but
I think it's going to be a mix of both.
It's in thin air at this point. It's in thin air.
Mm-hmm. Just like so, I don't know if you heard about this because this literally came out today.
Oh.
So you know how we've got so I've switched to my camera roll, which is just why you can't see me. So we've got the MCU streaming almost entirely on Disney Plus. The Spider-Man stuff will be on there for a limited amount of time because it's on its last sort of 18-month cycle on Netflix before it goes on to, is it 2 years originally on Disney
Yeah,
Plus
I
for?
think you're right. I think not to cut you off. I think I know where you're going with this, and if it is what I think it is, I read this last night, and I was just kind of like, "That's an interesting move." But I'll let you tell it.
Is it about the big green man?
Oh, indeed. There's only one Green Man, and he's joined DC Comics.
Yeah.
No, he's going to HBO Max.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
going to HBO Max.
yeah. What do you think of
What
that?
is
So
that
Incredible
about?
Hulk will be available to stream on HBO Max,
On the
which we
rival.
don't have here
On
anyway,
the,
so that doesn't matter. But like,
no.
what do you
Oh,
think
no.
that means?
I mean, I know it's Universal, and Universal aren't signed under Marvel, Disney, or aren't necessarily part of Warner Bros. Like Universal is their own separate company, but it's just that weird tactic of, oh, let's just put a random superhero movie, regardless of what brand he's like assigned to, let's just put him on the rivals opposition streaming service. It's like, okay, it's random. I sort of read it and thought, that can't. Did I read that right? But no, he's going on HBO Max. Whether it is a calculated move like we've just said, or if it's just some random like, oh, we've got some random catalogue, let's just shove them all on there because they can.
Possibly.
But, yeah, I read that late last night. It was kind of like, so you got random movie here. I can't remember. There was a huge ton of list of movies. I can't remember them all. No, nothing really noticeable. But the one that just said, the one that opened the article was Incredible Hulk goes to HBO Max. I was like, oh, this sounds fan made. I read it, and it is legit. It's happened, and it's just,
On
what have they done?
on April the
What have they
1st
done?
as well.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I was like, is this an April Fool's?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of it. It's like
Just like, what's going on?
it's March. Like they're not doing unless this is a really, pre-prepared one. But it is strange because obviously for those of us that are too young or just don't know that before when the MCU were just starting up, Marvel Studios was an independent production company, yes, that had hold of these characters and wanted to make good quality films of their characters and then seed them into a thing of, oh, this, we sort of have the lineup of the Avengers. Maybe we could build towards that. But they had to have funding, so it was Paramount for Iron Man 1, 2, and was it all? No, it was all of them, wasn't it? It was all of them,
Sure.
including Avengers, apart from Incredible Hulk, because Universal had the rights to Hulk since the Ang Lee movie.
Yeah.
Which has always been strange, and that ever since, the reason why we've never seen another Hulk movie is essentially Universal has first refusal right on anything to do with Hulk, which is why they just use Hulk characters in just other Marvel films. Like you've got General Ross coming back in Civil War and bits and pieces like that. Will we ever get a follow up to Brainiac and things like that? Not Brainiac, what's his name?
The leader.
The leader, yeah.
Says.
I'm fucking thinking of Brainiac. That's DC, you silly boy.
Same guy though, but yeah, different brand.
Essentially, yes. So that's why.
If you're going to believe, I would like the Gargoyle from the animated series. I like the Mark Hamill Gargoyle.
Yes.
I like that tag team.
That'd be a good one. But yeah, it's strange because we've got all of them but that, and obviously it's Universal using their rights and putting it on the Warner Brothers site. But what?
Yeah.
I don't doubt that at some point he will end up back in the House of Mouse, but
House of M. So to speak, the House of M.
Oh! I'm going to reduce the worldwide population of film studios to one. I'm going to kill off the independent production gene.
No more productions.
Gosh, Mickey, they're making a conglomerate. But yeah, it's a weird play. I don't know how long it'll be on there for. I think it's going to be because for Disney, it's one of the ones that they need. Like if they've managed to get Spider-Man on board for at least a couple of years, but I think the deals will be renegotiated once people are just like, just getting Disney Plus because you've got, even if it's just for the Holland trilogy, like having that all in one place and being able to watch it like sequentially with the rest of the MCU. I think that's really going to sort of buy into it, and because it's all of them, isn't it, including the Raimi and Webb ones, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Yeah, all of them.
So Spider-Verse?
Whether they come on the like MCU or just Marvel Legacy or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, I think they'll just to avoid confusion, the Holland ones will be in the MCU, like come under the necessary phase subtitles, and you'll have under the Legacy you'll have the Raimi Webb and the animated stuff. Which would be cool to have it all in one place and just be like, I feel like watching Endgame. Now I'm going to watch Spider-Verse because I can. And hopefully we get a cross on there, if not for a little bit, after that comes out. Part 1. I don't know when part 2 will be out because we still don't... That's not being done back to back. So that's not... It's not like it's coming out next year. It's a thing of another wait.
I thought I read something that it possibly was, but then I don't think they are being made back to back. So unless we know for definite it is, then we can't speculate. It's out next year.
But no. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Bruce Banner before. Yeah. Oh, did you see that new the final Morbius trailer that's got more Matt Smith in it?
I think this morning, actually, yeah.
So, because I was about to say the famous Hulk line of "Don't make me angry."
They're like friends.
Yeah.
They're like friends or brothers, aren't they? It's like, well, that's...
What are you gonna do if you could find a cure to us? I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna probably become a vampire and walk on crutches and go and film a movie called The Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but like before, all the other trailers made them out to be two separate people, and now they're like related? They're friends, they're childhood friends.
So yeah, they've both had the same rare blood disease, and they've both been killed by vampire. And I just love the Matt Smithness because he spoke to Karen Gillan about doing a superhero movie, and she was like, "Yeah, man, you got to do one if one comes up." But I think she meant like a real one, not a a knockoff Spider-Man villain anthology series. Where he plays Lexius Crown.
Anti-hero movie. Who the hell is Lexius Crown? I've never heard of him before this movie.
Okay,
Who is he?
He's brand of paint, isn't he?
Well, exactly.
You gotta just accept what you are. The villain.
Morbius nuts that may know your ins and outs of Morbius, let us know how exactly. Are they related? Are they brothers? Are they anything? Or is he just some... page one villain in like one issue that they've made into like some big feature length movie villain? Like, is he important or is he not?
Like I brought that up. Sorry, carry on.
No, literally off topic a little bit, but it's like Sherlock and Watson. As far as I'm aware, they're not brothers; they're just good friends. But in the recent Sherlock game that I've been playing this morning, they're brothers in this, and part of this game is trying to find out about their mum and their father and their origin. It's not Sherlock's origin. It's Sherlock and my brothers. They're brothers. Is that a thing?
I don't know. I think some media does that. Sure, it's like when the Joker was meant to be the fucking lost Wayne child, and let's make the Batman and the Joker brothers for reasons
related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what we can get from the trailer is they're both in the same hospital. One's clearly a British child, I think, unless he's doing it, and then one's a very American child, and then it's Matt Smith doing his Matt Smithness, which because apparently the reviews are in, and it's like it's not a good movie, but Matt Smith is great in it, and because Will shared it, and like he replied to someone on Twitter that I think was like a Matt Smith fan page, and it's like, yeah, but like Matt Smith only really like he gives his all to stuff even when he's in shit, and it's I think after Genesis and when he was gonna be Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker, and that obviously never came to materialize. So I'd like him to do well in films, or just in anything, because I feel like the only thing he's done really well in has been The Crown and Last Night in Soho. Is the only things I can feel like I can look at it and say that was a great thing and he was great in it. You know what I mean? Whereas this is going to be he's great in it. Is it great? No.
No, 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 I don't know. Just that movie we need to get out of the way, and the real question is which Spider-Man's going to be in it at the end.
I don't know. We'll have to take a running bet, but we'll be talking about that on my birthday, so that'll be a fun birthday treat of talking about Jared Leto being a prick.
To you, mate. Yeah.
And we will have a special guest on for that one, don't you worry, boys and girls. But yeah, it's just like Matt Smith hammering out. I brought it up with that relation to the Hulk thing because there's that line in the trailer where it's like, "Don't make me hungry. You won't like me when I'm hungry."
Oh, they call me Venom. Oh, just kidding. It's like, oh.
So he's like doing a weird Hulk line improv, and he's pretended that he's Venom, and it's like, what the fuck is this movie? I can't wait to see Michael Keaton being confused, because
as Michael Keaton, not as Vulture. Oh heck, as Bruce Wayne.
Because that's how he's generally been in it. Is like I try because I don't know if you've seen the So I was watching I watched. I think it was the Jimmy Kimmel interview with Robert Pattinson. I think it was either just before or just after I'd watched The Batman, which I'm going to see again tonight because Connor's still not seen it. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll go see it. But
yeah.
And there was the Michael Keaton one where it's the the Vulture stuff one. So I watched that like in full, and he was like, because because it's so intricate. Like before, like it didn't really matter. Like you've got like with this whole universe, like I'll get prepped before I think he was basically alluding to like the stuff that's gonna be in Morbius or the Vulture stuff he was filming. Like it's. Yeah. Basically, like I come in and they talked about like because you did this in this last one. He's like, and they're talking to me and walking me through all this stuff I did, and I'm like, I've not got a fucking clue what I did in the last one. So he's like, I know it's a whole level of secrecy thing, but honestly, like if you ask me, like I can't tell you because I don't know because I don't remember. I don't remember what my character did, which is why he says Vulture stuff. So I think I can't wait to see what he's up to in the Morbius film as. Hopefully Adrian Toomes. Yeah. And how he got there because it's a different universe, right? Like it was the same universe, but then it's confirmed that it's definitely a different one. So how is Vulture there, right? Right.
Yeah.
But I just can't wait to see the visible confusion on his face of like what he's actually doing there and what it actually all means.
That's a Vulture. That's me. I'm a painter. I'm an inventor. I'm a Vulture.
Mark Wahlberg is the Vulture. The fucking Vulture, man. I think we just found ourselves a member of the Sinister Six. But speaking of members of stuff, the Don Cheadle's in Secret Invasion because Samuel L. Jackson let it slip in an interview.
Yeah, he did let it slip. He confirmed that War Machine is going to be in it. So does that mean... Because obviously Secret Invasion is this year, like we hope.
We've still not had Armor... We don't know... What is the whereabouts with Armor Wars?
I feel like that'll be a mid-2023 or even the first show next year.
Because that's not even shot yet, is it?
No. So, heck, even end of next year then. It might be like the third or fourth show of next year then. If they don't get a move on with it. So I was just going to say, maybe Secret Invasion in a loose way sets up Armor Wars. He then appears in, whether it's all the show or maybe one or two of the episodes, then fucks off for whatever plot reason in Armor Wars.
Well, yeah, because he was a nice little surprise in Falcon and Winter Soldier, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Nice little thing of, oh, Rhodey's here. Because Sam let it slip by basically just saying that I've got Don, he's my golf buddy. I didn't realise it. But until we did the thing, we'd never actually worked together. We just kind of knew each other, but it was nice to actually hang out and work together. So it was like, that's a nice thing. I like that Rhodey is, becoming more and more of a player. Like, you've had him in quite a lot of films for a support, originally, like, just a replacement for a supporting character, going on to be War Machine, being part of the Avengers, being there with the fight against Thanos both times. The surprise in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was nice because we never knew about that until he was in it. The fact that we know we're getting him for full on in Armor Wars because it's going to be about those last little bits of tying up the Tony Stark legacy and Rhodey sort of doing it for his friend and having him in Secret Invasion. Adds a nice little sort of bit to it. So it feels like we're getting a nice fix of Don Cheadle as Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes,
Unless,
and I'm happy.
unless, unless Don Cheadle was a Skrull, and then again, we aren't looking at Don Cheadle, and then we'll find out where he's really been up to. Like Fury in space in Captain Marvel 2 or wherever, we're going to see him. Well, in Secret Invasion, obviously. We're going to see real Don Cheadle in Armor Wars, and then we're just going to look at Don Cheadle in Secret Invasion, and he's a Skrull. And then where is he, and why has he been replaced, and whatever. Maybe. I don't know. That's just a loose prediction. Just throwing it out there for now.
That's not bad.
Throwing it out there because the whole point of Secret Invasion, people are meant to be green shape-shifting aliens, and if we're just going to have to keep guessing who's going to be an alien, and I think he's a likely candidate because he's a side character, but he isn't like the face of the Marvel universe, so he's not going to be like inconsequential if down the line he was revealed to be a green alien all along. So maybe it was Agatha all along. Maybe Don Cheadle's been Agatha.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Could be just that. Yes.
Bank on it, Feige. I called you out. Bank on it. I just gave you an idea.
He's definitely listening. Just like. Where's the next one? I don't know if you know Bella Thorne of Disney Channel fame, who basically worked with Zendaya. She's put her name into the ring because she's basically said she's interested in playing Lady Deadpool in Deadpool 3, which...
That's right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which we don't know because we don't know anything about Deadpool 3 as of yet. It's still being written by the fabulous writers of the Bob's Burgers series, and I think they wrote the movie as well. Yeah. But
I think that's out in a month or something. That's out. I've read that that's out in May, I think.
Yeah, I've seen ads come up on YouTube with the trailer, so it must be
it's on its way.
right around the corner. But yeah, I don't like. I've not seen her in a lot of stuff other than the Disney Channel thing, so I'm not wary of her range and ability as an actor now. She's an adult, so but if she's anything like Zendaya, then sure. Like
exactly.
She can bring.
I need to read Lady Deadpool and see how she can. I don't know if she's just going to be a straight up female Ryan Reynolds adaptation of her breaking a full fall, or if there's going to be some slight variances between the Deadpools, or if they are just the same thing but female. I don't know if it's the same.
That's your thing, really, with the multiple Deadpools. That's kind of your thing. Is like you either make it, it's a carbon copy of someone playing against type by playing it like normal Deadpool, or like it's the fact that it's a Deadpool with essentially a lot more going on kind of thing. Like, even though the character of Wade Wilson, if you look at him on the surface, does actually have a lot of... He's quite a deep character when you think about it. But I've not read enough Lady Deadpool to sort of be any kind of expert level on her. So I don't want it to then become like... Because it could become a thing in the way, piss-taking of the multiple universe thing. Like, it would be very funny for the Deadpool film to just be loads of Deadpools. And it just sort of kind of rip the piss mainly out of like No Way Home and things like that. Of like, so you're like, how many fucking universes are there? Kind of thing. Like, I don't. I'm up for it. I'm not against half of this stuff. Like, I'd like to know how and where it would work.
The ins and outs. So without getting spoiled, you want to know the ins and outs before you see it. More or less.
Basically. Yeah. I want to sort of... Because, like, with most things, I have, like, a vague understanding when I go... Like, some things more than others, but, like, I have a vague understanding before I go in, and then through, like, interest of what I see or, like, what I watch and hear and things like that, like, I'll read up on certain things, which I've done for a lot of more of the lesser-known Marvel properties, like I have, like, going in, because, like, Guardians, I knew about Rocket and Groot, sort of, like, before the movie, and then so like I read up on it when they'd announced the film, like at one of the I think it was 2013 Comic-Con, things like that, when you had like the weird concept art and it was like, oh, this could be sort of like a weird kind of interesting story, and then obviously seeing the movie, like loving the characters, reading into it more and more, and seeking out things. Like, I bought I think like 3 or 4 issues of Doctor Strange after watching the Doctor Strange movie. because like I do love him as a character, and like I know there's a lot to sift through, and like it's a thing of you kind of just got to jump in with a character you like and sort of find your stories that you like because they're all so different.
Yeah.
But
And the thing, yeah, because that's the surface level. If people who really like know their comics more than we do, like people just want certain creators, they want certain like writers on it. You want certain names behind it. You want certain art styles. Like
a bit sort of shorthand wise for Big Finish. You would sort of go into the ones like you'd listen to the doctors that you'd want, but then you'd also like if I liked this Eighth Doctor story that was written by her. Like she's written one for the Sixth Doctor. Like I'll try that all the time. That's how you do anything really. Like you branch out and watch different things because you've either seen it's either got actors in it you recognise and like, or it's made by people that you really like their previous stuff. That's like with anything. It's the same for the comics. And I do because I was involved in like I was like sort of like I'd pick up a couple of issues like maybe a couple of times a month or like every month or like every other month kind of thing. And then like it was COVID, and then I sort of haven't really had the chance or the income to be like, I can spend it on everything. There's only so much money I can spend, Connor.
Yeah. But, I agree. Amen. The world's a dark place.
But I have got a couple of issues of Superior Spider-Man because I do love that run. I remember that.
I do need to read it.
Being all over the news.
I really want to read it. Yeah, I want to read that.
Maybe you should. But something you should watch because you are a person. Yes. You're not a diehard restore the Snyderverse man, like the arrogant, not like the arrogant peeps on the interwebs, but following your viewing of Zack Snyder's The Justice League, you do. I think it's safe to say, you do sort of mourn for the loss of. Not Zack Snyder specifically, but for that version of the DCEU and for it being a proper continuity thing. But there is hope
of it being a canon. Is there?
Because the Green Lantern Corps TV series that is coming to HBO Max.
Okay. Which has been in hell like the Flash.
Yeah. It's rumored to be coming out early next year. But it is it's been confirmed by the creator that it's part of this. It's a follow-on from the Snyderverse, the Snyder cut of Justice League. So there is a bit of a content. So that's if you're worried that the DCU as it is now. Like I know retroactively, Aquaman and Wonder Woman directors James Wan and Patty Jenkins said like, oh no, we followed on from what we knew of Zack's vision, but obviously that's just hearsay and whispers, and from a version that they never saw finished, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
And the fact that you've got the world's slowest Flash movie, seemingly fucking up the universe to a point where there's gonna be no Batman, but because there was only 4 members of the Justice League at the end of Peacemaker, which is Peacemaker is definitely DCEU and fits.
That got released though. That got a release date as well.
Yeah, end of the month.
Yeah, on Now TV.
Yeah, I think I've seen I think it's on there now. And that's definitely a DCEU show. It's just the DCEU Peacemaker. Like it doesn't care Snyder cut or not. But like we know it's set post Flash, so Flash is seemingly gonna alter what it needs to alter, and then you're gonna have Michael Keaton Batman. And I'm looking forward to, like, as much as I don't really want to see the Flash because of Ezra Miller and like the whole thing just seems like it's a big pile of fucking dog shit mess. I am looking forward to seeing Ben Affleck one last time doing something new as Batman.
Going out the way he should have gone out.
Because the only other...
apart from himself, apart from other evil Batmen.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like I think apart from that one scene where Martian Manhunter's in the Snyder cut, like there's nothing, there's not really anything new, majorly that he did and the Joker, his half of the Joker scene, because he probably didn't want to be in the same room as Jared Leto, because I don't think many people do.
Understandable. Yeah.
So apart from those two things, it would be nice to sort of be like, this guy could have been the Tony Stark for the DCEU. Like he could have gone on this mad journey, and then done Batman Beyondy things, Because I feel like that's what naturally you would have
Oh,
done. You would have got
yeah.
him up to a point where it, because obviously he was an older Batman, got him through a couple of films, then had him retire and do the Batman Beyond thing, training either like a Terry McGinnis or Batgirl, like they're doing, which has been, seen on the streets of Glasgow, like her in costume
Yeah.
and things like that, and some explosions. So I think they would have naturally done that, but then for their end game level film, have him come out of retirement one last time, be like the odds are stacked against him, and then it's like Batman in like his big fucking mech back crawler thing
Oh,
coming again,
yeah.
fight the good fight,
Yeah,
and then
so
die then like die like at the end, a la Tony Stark. Like you would have got that whole journey out of Ben Affleck Batman, and it to me it feels
absolutely.
like such a journey that's we're never going to get to see, and I look forward to that part of it. But there is hope for you. The Snyderverse lives on in the Green Lantern Corps.
Green Lantern series, which I didn't know about. I
No.
knew Green Lanterns was sort of doing things, but I didn't know it was sort of picking up from that canon. So,
Yeah, because we're not getting the
yeah,
Gotham Police Department show
Gotham,
that links to the Batman anymore, but we're still getting the Green Lantern
because that's
Corps.
supposedly Arkham. Because that supposedly is now Arkham.
Supposedly, but
Arkham.
that's still up in the air, so
We
we don't
know,
know.
we know we're getting at least Penguin from that universe.
Yeah, we
We're
got the
getting
Penguin spin-off, and Colin Farrell has finally been sort of signed, sealed, and delivered on it,
Yeah,
which is good, really.
good stuff.
So I'm interested because obviously Green Lantern's only ever really been alluded. It was alluded to in the beginning of the original release of Justice League and sort of fleshed out a bit more in the Snyder Cut. So it'd be nice to see Green Lantern again. I don't know. I think it's going to be set in the core, like in space, isn't it? Like the core, the planet core.
Proper Green Lantern.
So
I
maybe that's how they tease either I'd like him to go for John Stewart because obviously like
I think there's more chance of it being John Stewart than Hal Jordan. Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's
because that Green Lantern film was meant to be the first of the DCU originally, and then it was like, oh, this did badly. Let's make it Man of Steel. So there is a world where we had a fucking Justice League movie with Henry Cavill, Ryan Reynolds, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher. Because we got that fucking Justice League number is normally.
You could have had Ezra and Grant Gustin. You could have had Stephen. Maybe they should have just united the Arrowverse anyway, and then rather than spend all these years crafting more films,
Well, they sort of the CW stuff sort of became like the Defenders, really, didn't it? In terms of like this is us teaming up.
canon. Yeah.
Mm.
But except this time the Defenders was better than the films. Because I still feel that way, even before the DCEU, before everything that happened with Justice League originally got momentum, that the Arrowverse was already doing killer things with Arrow and Flash. It was only when they started doing Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow that they then got a bit too big for their boots, in my opinion.
And when Oliver Queen just became Batman, essentially, but with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
They told, because they couldn't use Batman in the TV, it was like, well, let's just, give all the Batman-like stuff to this character. So
he became the Dark Archer that stopped people from failing their city. Yeah, that was him.
Yeah, which there's a lot to do with bow and arrow, but sure. But then it's weird because I really liked Hawkeye, and I used to love Green Arrow. The first 3 seasons were good, and then it was like we're just gonna keep. It's why I ducked out of the Flash early on because it was like, and here's another speedster that's faster than Barry. And Barry doesn't even have his Speed Force at the moment, apparently.
What?
So, yeah.
No way. Wait, now it's Barry? What?
Run faster, Barry. You've got to run faster than the other Barry.
Where's Barry? It's a spin-off of Where's Wally?
Who's Barry? But, yeah, so that's sort of about it for this week, really, in terms of major stuff. There's a few things dotted about that I know we've tagged each other in. We'll probably go into depth more in the personification. But yeah, nothing.
We know next week is Moon Knight.
Next week is Moon Knight, which we will talk about in depth until we pass out from oxygen starvation. Because the premiere was the other day at the British Museum, and Oscar Isaac just looked happy, and that was enough for me.
That in itself, exactly. That in itself is nice. Yes, he's a happy soul.
Yeah.
Happy soul.
So as we wrap up this here podcast, did you see the I think it was the Doctor Who magazine for the um, what's it called? Legend of the Sea Devils.
No, I've not seen this.
So no, so we got some looks at the because obviously it's a period piece. It's set in Asia, isn't it? In the When did it set? I feel was it early 1200? I don't know. Legend of the Sea Devils. Legend of the Sea Devils. 19th century China. So we got looks at the costumes for our main gang. So like it's proper period costumes for John Bishop Mandic and Jodie has a one-off actual costume like a Asian silk like sort of like the button-up jacket shirt thing and the trousers like she's got a like to the navy color of her trousers and like the inside lining of her coat so like it's really
Oh, okay.
so it's nice that in her penultimate story she gets a a new costume.
A new costume, yeah.
Yeah.
But will that carry over into a final one, or will it just be a fashion accessory that will get destroyed, and then she'll just have to go back to her dirty, raggedy old TARDIS to get?
Maybe, but have you heard the rumor that the regeneration is rumored to take place in a body of water? So people are like, "Oh, she drowns at the end of the Sea Devils," and she's that's a thing.
Yeah.
But,
So the regeneration will be at the beginning of the regeneration story, and we'll get the next Doctor in. I don't know.
and then we'll do. It will be like World Enough in Time, and the Doctor falls in reverse. Like the regeneration will open it, but then we'll cut away before we find out who it is, and then go back. I don't know. Possibly. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I don't really. I'm not that I don't really care. I am indifferent.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm indifferent to it. It's just
I look
anything
forward
new.
to it.
I'm indifferent.
Because Russell was on a Zoom interview and was asked about it because obviously he's back at his old flat in Cardiff where he used to. I don't know if you're familiar with the Doctor Who Confidentials, but like his same flat with the same blinds, but he's got his new laptop in Cardiff Bay and it was like sunset in Cardiff because obviously he was also back at Bad Wolf because that production like pre-production is on essentially for series 14 with I think it'll be a couple of months time they should be in principal photography. Obviously we still don't know who the Doctor is and when there was an announcement we knew was coming it turned out to be that it's Doctor Who's going to be in Fortnite so that was the thing.
Yeah, that was great. That
Which is it's pretty big news for a show that everyone seems to think is failing. So
not cool anymore.
Yeah. So it was a nice surprise. But yeah, so he was on this Zoom interview thing. Was asked about it. It was like, look, which kind of did it give away the release date of the Centenary special? Because it was like, look, as far as I'm concerned, like I can. Like, I'm doing it, but, like, Chris and Jodie are in charge until October, so, let's not worry about it until then kind of thing. So it's like, oh, there's the special happening in October, which would be really annoying if they couldn't just hold out a month and do it on the anniversary day.
I know, that would annoy me too. Do it in November.
But, yeah.
Do it on the day.
Have to wait and see. I always look forward to it, but I'm also, I've still not rewatched Flux, so that tells you everything you need to know. But we will be on some Doctor Who stuff soon again, because...
Hello!
Yes. You... That's right. I thought you were just shouting at me. I was like, we've been here for an hour, Con.
Hi guys, hello, welcome to the video.
Yeah. Because you obviously were on The Wheel, that roaring success of a video. And there's more stuff to come. I don't know if you've been talked about it, but as soon as I stop record, I'll ask you if you've been asked for it yet. So.
Oh yes, okay, yeah.
Go and see it. It's a very good video where it definitely there's no technical difficulties and Connor just wins off of his own accord and answers all the questions himself.
Yes, I knew everything because I'm the Doctor Who fanatic out of all of us, and you know that, George. So
I do know that. Deep down, I know that.
Yeah, but I totally knew that.
there's not much more left to say from. I hope you get better soon and you can be back in this room and we can talk about some more random shite. Because thank you everyone.
So do I.
For listening to Nerd by Broadcast episode 193 this week.
Thank you, my voice, for not dying out on me. This is probably the most I've talked about for the last 6 days, so it's been nice.
You can go back now and rest and eat some buttery toast.
And be silent.
Just before you do, old chap, where can they send the emails to if they want to get in contact with this here show?
nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com.
And follow us across the week at Pasty Sheep across Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. As always, you can get in touch with us through the email that Connor doth say, and you can, get involved, get audience interaction up, because we've been saying it for a long time and maybe one day it will come true. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share if you've not done so already. It really will help us out in the long run. And until next time, my dears. Oh, there was a release date for season 22. I saw it on, I don't know if you've zoom.co.uk, which used to be like a sort of like, I don't know if you know the old play.com that used to be like a weird version of like HMV. It was sort of like that, and then like the website went down. It did loads of DVDs, things and merch as well, so like figures and things as well, but now it's strictly just like vinyls, DVDs and games and things like that. It had on the list, it had its listing for season 22, the collection, but obviously that's not been, it was given a brief release date and then not, it was taken off, wasn't it? But like, every box set's been delayed.
So every bloody box set does, yeah.
But the release date on this, on zoom.co.uk, confirmed, said the 1st of January 2035.
Well, in that time we've got to get
so
the rest
it's only 13 years to wait.